So now for something weird. How many people in here are familiar with the name Arnold Schoenberg? Okay, a few of them. Music majors out there? Yeah. Arnold Schoenberg was a German composer who, about 100 years ago, invented a system of composition called 12-tone, all right, also called Dodecaphony. And just basically what he did, in Western music, there's 12 notes to the octave. It's called the chromatic scale. Now, usually what happens is that in compositions, we pick 7 out of the 12 and organize it around one of those notes to make it what we call the tonic, so that everything sort of revolves around that. So that's the home note. Well, European music in the early 20th century was getting farther and farther away from that idea of tonality, and Schoenberg decided to just kind of, take the thing and just take it to its logical conclusion and say, all right, let's make all the notes equal. And some people call it atonality, which means no tonality, but he preferred the term pantonality, meaning everything was tonal. So all the notes are equal. So basically, you make all those notes, equal instead of having one of them more important than all the others. You may have never heard music by Arnold Schoenberg, but you have heard 12-tone music. If you listen to 20th century movie scores, TV scores, Bill Evans even wrote a piece. A lot of people wrote 12-tone pieces. But a few years ago, I realized there was no 12-tone funk tunes. And I thought, there should be a 12-tone funk tune. I mean, come on, right? So I got this idea, kind of a Arnold Schoenberg meets Tower of Power. And what I decided to do was write a tune called Dodecaphunk. And what I did was Arnold Schoenberg would take all 12 notes of the chromatic scale and put them into what's called a row, 12-tone row, where you play each of the 12 notes without repeating any of them. So I start out with this 12-tone row for the A sections of the song. That's all 12 notes, and none of them were repeated. And then I decided to do, to harmonize that, I picked three chords that contained all 12 notes of the chromatic scale. Okay, and then when I got to the bridge of the song, you do what's called called retrograde, where you run it backwards. So Brian, if you play the retrograde. And I picked 3 other chords well, that wasn't that one. That was the wrong one. But anyway, I picked 3 chords that contained the 12 notes of the chromatic scale. You all thought that was weird. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so if you've heard this piece before, you've heard that, but I added something to it because we have Andy on drums here, and I thought we need to get a drum solo into this thing. So I wrote some backgrounds to the drum solo, and to do the backgrounds, I used what's called a retrograde, which is an inversion. There's going to be a little quiz at intermission, by the way, right? So, yeah. Hope you're getting all this. It's like a mirror image. Steve, go ahead and play with And then for the rest of that, we did what's called a retrograde inversion, where you retrograde the inversion. And that's all behind a very hot drum solo, so you won't even notice it, right? Anyway, so we're going to play this for you, and then at the end, remember I mentioned those 3 chords at the beginning. We're going to play all 3 of those chords at the same time, and then we'll see which one wins. So I don't know. We'll see which one wins at the end. So anyway, so this is called Dodecaphunk.